Mm, 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 mm. Mm, mm, mm.
Dear humans, have you forgotten the fables of old? Come join with us, see what nature beholds.
Turn to the fire, listen to your earth. We're waiting to show you. Will you notice our work?
Lay down your weapons, your screens and your pride. We have learnt, it's your turn, you can decide.
We'll be waiting for you in the woodland tonight. Are you ready to reflect, to change and unite?
Aesop's animals.
Oh, I don't know why these animals have brought us here to this wood.
What can they teach us that we don't already know?
I can't wait to get back in the warm inside to my house with my comforts.
It's nice to see all these humans here. Maybe we can get together and make peace.
There's nothing these animals can teach me. What do they know? Huh.
It is certainly true that all of nature has something to teach us, even a rotten old oak stump like me. I'm glad you have come here to meet us, because as you have seen, we have many lessons to show you. Even if you look to the trees in the forest, the plants in the ground, the cycles of seasons and weather in the skies, there is so much you humans might realise about living.
The lion was proud and strong, he was king of the jungle. One afternoon a small mouse interrupted and begged, "Please do not kill me, I may be able to help you one day." The lion thought it was so funny, so he let the mouse go. "Now scram! Before I change my mind," he said. 2 weeks later, hunters captured the lion and he was trapped in a big net. The lion could not escape. The mouse came along and offered to help free the lion. "You can't help me, you're too small." "But I have sharp teeth," said the mouse. So the mouse nibbled at the net to create a hole big enough for the lion to escape. Message: the weak can help the strong.
You think you are the most powerful of beings. Defend yourself against me if you can. Then began to bite the bewildered lion, his nose and everywhere around. The lion clawed at his own face until the blood ran. He could neither catch the mosquito nor make it stop. Last he had to beg for mercy. The mosquito flew off in such a triumph that it failed to notice the spider's web drawn across its path. The lion conqueror was quickly caught and beaten by the spider. The moral is that pride comes before a fall.
I remember when I used to be so proud and vain, and I used to boast to everyone about my beautiful feathers. If it rained, I would stand and look at my reflection in puddles. Just look at the colour of my feathers, I would say. I am so beautiful. But then one day, my old friend the crane came along and said, "You may have beautiful feathers, but you cannot fly like me." Moral of the story: we may lose in one way, but gain in another.
A fine stag went to the pool to drink. When he had drank enough, he stood and gazed at his own reflection. His great twisted horns, called antlers, looked magnificent. "I really do have a very fine pair of antlers," the stag said proudly. "They are very handsome indeed. What a pity my legs are not as fine as my antlers. What a fool I've been. I thought my beautiful antlers were everything. And now it turns out that my legs were the ones that were there to help me and serve me so well. My antlers got me trapped in the tree. I couldn't even get free. What sort of help were they to me? My legs are the help. What is worth most is often valued less."
I'm going to sit here and sing in the sun I'll dance and sing all summer long. Look at those ants working so hard. Silly ants.
Grasshopper, what are you doing laying in the sun, doing nothing all day? You should be working.
I'm not going to do any work. I don't care about the winter. Everyone else can look after
We're
me.
not going to look after you.
I'm going to carry on dancing and singing in the sun.
Oh, it's you, is it, Grasshopper? What do you want? Food.
Feed the eyes on all our lovely food.
Well, you're not having any. You should have got it all yourself instead of lying in the sun all day.
Send me some food. I wasn't prepared. I should have listened. Moral of the story. We should always make plans for the future.
I'm known as a monkey. Hey. I'm so clever. People all over the world enjoy when I'm at my job. That is jumping skills, dancing on music and drum beats. I do scream aloud when playing in the jungles, on trees, branch to branch, swing around.
My friend, Mr. Hare, was happily frolicking and enjoying his day when along came the eagle. The eagle chased him and chased him and chased him. I screamed as loudly as I could. Stop! Eagle! Do not eat my friend the hare! Leave him alone! But the eagle ignored me and ate my friend. I was furious. The eagle lived high on a cliff, and she laid her eggs, and she looked after her eggs. But I hate the eagles. I climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed up the cliff to the eagle's nest and pushed the egg off, and it smashed on the ground. The eagle flew up to Jupiter and asked Jupiter for help in despair. Jupiter, I have no children. The beetle keeps killing all my eggs. Please help me. Jupiter helped the eagle and agreed to look after them. Laid her eggs in Jupiter's lap. Jupiter looked after the eggs for the eagle, and that made me very, very, very angry. So I decided to do something about it. I was very angry that Jupiter was helping the eagle after what he did to my friend the hare. So I had a plan, and I climbed to Jupiter's throne with a ball of dirt. And I put the ball of dirt in Jupiter's lap with the egg. Jumped up to get the dirt from his lap and knocked all the eggs. And they all smashed. Ha 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 ha. The moral of the story is, even as small as I can defeat the larger obstacles. I would like to add a cautionary tale to this fable. Please do not waste your life pursuing vengeance.
About living. You may think that you are the most powerful in these lands, but let me tell you, I was once the greatest oak in my woodland, yet it was my stubborn pride that led me to fall. Listen now to my journey. This riverside forest was once my home, many, many years ago. Hundreds of trees lived here of all kinds, shapes and sizes, standing together along the river. But none was so great as me. Or so I thought. I stood high above the rest in the best spot on a bend in the river, the great oak. I spent all my time towering over the other trees and believing they worshipped my might and glory. Of course they must have. I was by far the biggest and strongest of all trees. I cast the biggest shadow, I boasted the biggest trunk, and I shouted through all the seasons about how nothing could bother me, and nothing would ever be stronger than this giant old oak. I looked down upon the trees below, and especially when I saw those poor reeds that lined the river, I felt pity for those weak and fragile reeds. They whispered softly and were always so shy and quiet. I thought they must have longed to be as strong as I was. I had faced so much in my long life. No weather could rock my mighty branches. But a day came when the most terrifying storm crashed through our lands. The rain began to fall and filled up the river. The sky raged with lightning, and the wind swirled violently. I stood strong, and I dared that wind to do its worst. I could lose my leaves, even my branches, but I'd still be the mightiest tree around. I saw the storm destroying towns and whipping up the water in the river so fast. But I wasn't afraid. Not me. Until suddenly, the gusts of wind so powerful ripped me from my ancient roots and tore me from the ground. I flew into the air, and I fell. I crashed down into the river, and I was broken apart. How could this be? How could the strongest tree in the land be overpowered by a storm? I cried out to the world in confusion and distress as my broken branches drifted along the river. And then came a soft voice in reply. I looked up. It was those fragile, feeble reeds. There they were, dancing in the sun. "Oh, mighty oak," they whispered to me. "You stood, and you fought the winds, stubborn and proud. But the storm was stronger than you were, and you would not give in. We bent and bowed our heads. We knew we were weaker than the howling gusts, and so we gave way to the winds, and we went with their gales, not against them. So it passed harmlessly over our heads, and here we remain for the sun to warm us again." So you see, my moral was given to me that day. Sometimes, in order to survive, it is better to surrender and be humbled than to play a grand role.
I've learnt the outdoors is so much fun.
I've learned that we need to look after the world.
I've learnt it's not all about how many likes you get on Instagram.
I've learnt to let go of some pride.
I've learnt not to throw litter.
Really nice to hear some good things from the humans.
I've learnt that pride comes before a fall.
I hope that things get better in the future.